When is it a cob and when is it an ear? Is a cob just an empty one? Like corn on the cob. Today we're making summer corn chowder. So it's just a really good way to celebrate fresh corn and summer veg like zucchini and some nice fresh herbs. And it's just a wonderful thing. So in this giant pot, I have 1 large onion, 3 carrots, and 2 sticks of celery. And I've just diced them and I've been sweating them down for quite a while in straight up butter, like 2 or 3 tablespoons of butter, and I put a little bit of oil in too so the butter doesn't burn. And that's just been sweating really nicely for about 10 minutes. And then I'm going to add some potatoes. So to me, what makes a chowder is potatoes. I don't care if it's creamy or brothy or spicy or whatever. If it's got lots of big chunks of potatoes in it, it could be called a chowder. I would love to hear if you disagree with me. Just let me know in the comments. Us YouTubers love comments. So these potatoes are some nice local new potatoes. The skin is nice and thin. It's so thin that as I scrubbed them, it almost came off completely, so I had to be a bit careful. And I'm gonna say this is about, well, that was about 2. And I think I might use 1 more of this little guy. Pretty much eyeballing, but I'll do a full recipe and put it up on howtomakedinner.com, and I'll link to that in the description box below. Like over there. I don't know where the description box is. Okay, so potatoes are gonna go in now that everything's nice and soft. And by the way, the veggies, the carrots, onions, and celery were, they also had about a good teaspoon of salt in there. And I'm actually gonna do all of these potatoes. Just cut off the bad bits here. It's gonna be very potato centered chowder, as it should be. Potatoes and corn is such a good combo. When I was a kid, I used to come home from school every day and have a microwaved baked potato, like 6 minutes in the microwave. And then I would take it out and take out frozen corn out of the freezer and put it on top and mush it into the potato, and then put that back in the microwave for like 45 seconds. And then I'd put knobs of butter and salt, and that was my after school snack like every day. No wonder I was a little bit on the chubby side. Okay, so these guys are just gonna soften a little bit. And I'm actually gonna put the zucchini in at this stage as well. So I have 1 kind of medium zucchini, and I'll cut that up. I'm a big zucchini fan. I did a grilled zucchini salad episode recently that I'm such a fan of. It's so simple. It kind of doesn't have much of a flavor on its own, but it just complements things really nicely. So I'm doing kind of a medium-ish kind of large dice on this zuc. And I might only use half. I think I'll just use half. So once all that stuff's in, I'm gonna put the chicken stock in. This is actually better than bouillon, so it's fake, well, it's not fake. It's store-bought chicken stock, but it's made from actual meat juices, so it's really good. I'm gonna crank this up and bring it to a boil. And by the way, I only just added enough stock for it to just barely cover the veggies. I can always add more later, but I can never take it away. So I'm just gonna simmer this until everything's nice and soft. And while everything's cooking away in the pot, simmering away, I'm gonna take some corn off the cob. I've watched people do this a number of different ways. Standing up, it kind of makes a mess. The corn goes all over the place. I've seen people cut it into a giant bowl, which kind of catches the flying kernels, but it's also then you have to get a giant bowl dirty, so that doesn't really work for me for my minimal dish strategy. So I tend to just cut it lying down like this. I just kind of cut down. I don't really know why that's not more of a thing. I haven't seen many people do it like this. It seems so much easier than standing up. So it doesn't make any kind of a mess at all. And I'm not going to throw this away quite yet. I'll just do the other cob. Okay, so before I chuck these into the compost, I'm going to use the back of my knife to scrape some of this kind of milky corn juice out of the cob. And it's kind of weird, but you get a lot. Like, this is really good stuff here. And it's really sweet. And you can see when you look at it that all the little corn kernel bits are empty now. They're devoid of all of their juices because we got them all. I forgot to mention bay leaves. We're gonna put 3 bay leaves in. Okay, so the first stage of the chowder has been simmering away for like 5 or so minutes. So I'm just waiting for the potatoes to be cooked through because they take the longest. But before that, we can add the corn in so the corn can get a little time with everything else. So all this corn juice and the kernels are all going in. Okay, so the corn's in. I'm gonna put the lid back on and simmer it for another 5 or so minutes. Oh my God, that's good already. Okay, so it's been a few minutes and I just double checked a potato and I chose a larger chunk of potato and the potato is cooked, so that means this is ready to go. So I'm just gonna take the bay leaves out before I add any other bits in. I've had some pretty annoying situations before where I've added like greens and things to a soup before I took the bay leaves out, and then it's impossible to find the bay leaves after that. So this soup is like, well, it's a chowder. This chowder is really, really thick and hearty. I really want to emphasize that you just want to add enough liquid to cover, and whether you're using chicken stock or bouillon stuff like I did, or even just water, you just want to cover it just barely. Otherwise, you'll just have a watery chowder. And I'm not adding any flour or thickening agents to this. It's just the potato starch and everything else that's going to make it nice and thick. So the final touches are just some kind of last minute add-ins. I have some fresh parsley because I just put fresh parsley in so many things, and I think it's really nice to have some green freshness at the end of this soup. I also have a little bit of green onions here. I didn't show you, but I threw in a few green beans because I had some in the garden that just wanted to be used. So this is just like the final add-ins. You just use whatever you have. I've got some fresh basil here too. Any fresh herb that you want to use that is kind of calling your name. These are things that don't require any cooking though. You want them to be just going in raw as like the final kind of freshening up of this chowder. Hack those up. I also have some cherry tomatoes that I cut in half, which is a little bit maybe unconventional for a chowder, but I find it really nice, and it also adds a nice color. So, and then the creamy part. So I find the easiest way to make something creamy at home is to just add sour cream instead of messing around with making a roux and making a whole like dairy-based soup. This is great as it is right now, but all you have to do to make it creamy, like a really good creamy chowder, is add a few spoonfuls of sour cream. It's just easy. So sour cream goes in, You want to make sure that's full fat. Non-fat or low-fat sour cream has a very good, there's a very good chance of it splitting because it doesn't have enough fat to kind of hold it together. And then in goes all the little last-minute add-ins. And then I'm going to turn the heat off completely. Unplug this noisy thing. And just give it a final stir. This is a beautiful soup. Okay, I'm gonna crack some pepper into here before I serve it up. It's got enough salt, so that teaspoon of salt I added at the beginning was enough. Okay, here goes. Get some of everything. And see, it's thick because of the potato. I didn't need any flour. So that makes this gluten-free, which is kind of cool. And that's about it. It's not free of anything else. It's got dairy in it and stuff. But. So there it is. That's your summer corn chowder with summery veggies like zucchini and beans and in-season corn and fresh basil. Oh, it's hot. Mmm. I'm all about eating soup in the summer. All of a sudden, I feel like that's just new to me this year, but it's so nice. And this pot, I don't know if you can see, but it's like pretty full. So this feeds a lot of people, and it's going to be my lunch all week. And it's super easy. That took no time at all. So yeah, I'll keep eating, but I'll just say goodbye. So I hope you make this soup and let me know how you like it. And I'll see you next week. It's so nice. It's all you need is sour cream. It doesn't need to be complicated, this whole creamy soup thing. Oh my God, it's gonna be so good fridge cooked. You're gonna love this.